The rise of the Deathworlders. In the year 2345, the galaxy was a tapestry of alliances, rivalries, and ancient grudges. At its heart stood the Varric Dominion, a proud alien empire renowned for their mastery over the Deathworlds, planets so treacherous that survival was considered a badge of honor. These planets had extreme climates, lethal flora and fauna, and unstable terrains. The Varric thrived on them, claiming dominion over these worlds while dismissing other species as soft and unworthy. Humanity, a relatively new player on the galactic stage, was viewed with scorn. The Varric saw humans as fragile creatures, too dependent on technology to endure the galaxy's harshest trials. However, what the Varric didn't account for was humanity's unmatched adaptability and determination. When news reached the Varric Council that a human colony had been established on Varlax Prime, a planet considered one of the deadliest deathworlds, their immediate response was disbelief. Varlax Prime was a world of eternal storms, acid rain, and predatory beasts. It was said even the Varric had struggled to maintain control there before abandoning it as untamable. The Varric dispatched a reconnaissance team to investigate. At the forefront was Commander Leora, a young and ambitious Varric scientist. She was tasked with uncovering how humans had not only survived but apparently thrived where the Varric had failed. For Leora, this mission was both a challenge and an insult. To suggest that humans had succeeded where her people had faltered bordered on heresy. The Varric ship descended into the storm-laden skies of Varlax Prime, its hull blowing as it cut through sheets of acid rain. Leora and her team landed just outside the human settlement, expecting ruins or signs of defeat. Instead, they were met with an astounding sight. The colony stood tall, shielded by a massive energy dome that shimmered like a second sky. Inside, the settlement bustled with life. Humans walked freely, working together to maintain their structures and machinery. Farms of bioengineered crops grew in rows, and massive generators hummed as they powered the protective dome. Leora was stunned. "Impossible," she muttered, her violet eyes narrowing. This world should have consumed them. A human delegation emerged to greet the Varric team. Leading them was Captain Elias Kane, a seasoned explorer with a calm yet confident demeanor. "Welcome to Varlax Prime," he said with a respectful nod. "We weren't expecting visitors." Leora stepped forward, her voice sharp. "How did you do this? This world is unfit for habitation. Your kind should not have lasted a week." Kane smiled faintly. "Humans have a knack for finding solutions to impossible problems. When we saw the storms and the acid rain, we didn't see obstacles, we saw challenges to overcome." He explained how the colony had developed advanced filtration systems to purify water and air, genetically modified crops to withstand the acidic soil, and defensive drones to manage the dangerous wildlife. Every step of their survival had been a calculated effort driven by ingenuity and a refusal to surrender. Despite her disdain for humanity, Leora found herself fascinated. The Varric had always relied on brute force and biological supremacy to dominate Deathworlds, but the humans had approached the problem with creativity and innovation. It was a perspective that challenged everything she had been taught. However, not all the Varric shared Leora's curiosity. Some viewed humanity's success as a threat, an insult to their dominance. As whispers of the human colony spread across the galaxy, tensions grew. The Varric Council convened to decide their next move, and their verdict was clear: humanity's rise must be contained. Back on Varlax Prime, Kane and his people sensed the storm brewing not from the planet, but from the galaxy's political players. Kane, ever the diplomat, reached out to Leora for guidance. Despite her loyalty to the Varric, she felt a growing respect for these humans and their tenacity. "Why do you fight so hard for this place?" Leora asked during one of their conversations, her curiosity breaking through her icy demeanor. Kane's answer was simple: because giving up has never been in our nature. If we stopped fighting, we wouldn't be human. Leora didn't respond, but his words lingered in her mind. Perhaps, she thought, there was more to these humans than met the eye. As the sun dipped below the horizon of Varlax Prime, casting the colony in a golden glow, both humans and Varric prepared for what would come next. The galaxy was watching, and the battle for survival was far from over. A fragile alliance. Tensions in the galaxy reached a boiling point after the Varric Council publicly declared humanity's presence on Varlax Prime a violation of intergalactic order. To save face and assert their dominance, the Varric demanded that humanity participate in a joint expedition to Kratos 7, an even more treacherous Deathworld recently discovered at the galaxy's fringe. Their reasoning was clear: if humans could succeed there, they would prove their worth; if they failed, the Varric's superiority would remain unchallenged. Captain Elias Kane, now the de facto representative of humanity's resilience, reluctantly agreed. He knew the Varric's intent was less about partnership and more about sabotage, but refusing the offer would paint humanity as weak or afraid. The stakes were higher than ever. The joint mission comprised a mix of humans and Varric, a tense collaboration that left neither side fully trusting the other. Commander Leora was assigned to oversee the expedition, a decision she resented. Her growing respect for humanity clashed with her duty to maintain the Varric's supremacy. Meanwhile, Kane handpicked his team. Engineers, scientists, and survivalists, each with a specialty that might tip the balance in humanity's favor. As the expedition prepared to depart, Leora and Kane shared a tense moment aboard the Varric ship Cytherian, a sleek crystalline vessel far more advanced than human technology. "I hope you understand what you've signed up for," Leora said, her tone sharp but not unkind. "Kratos 7 is unlike any world you've seen." Kane met her gaze evenly. "We've faced impossible odds before, Commander. And we're still here." When they arrived at Kratos 7, the planet loomed like a dark jewel in space. Its atmosphere was thick with swirling clouds of ash and toxic gases. Violent electrical storms lit up the skies, and below lay a barren landscape of jagged rocks, volcanic vents, and rivers of molten lava. The air was barely breathable, and the surface temperatures fluctuated wildly. The mission began as expected, with distrust. The Varric team operated with precision, relying on their advanced suits and technology to navigate the hazardous terrain. The humans, however, adapted quickly, employing a mix of ingenuity and improvisation. While the Varric mapped the safest routes, the humans devised portable filtration devices and lightweight shielding to counteract the planet's unpredictability. One such innovation immediately caught Leora's attention. As the team set up camp near a volcanic ridge, a sudden sulfuric geyser erupted, threatening to engulf the area in noxious fumes. While the Varric scrambled to retreat, Kane's team deployed a series of collapsible barriers that neutralized the gases within seconds. Leora watched in silent awe as Kane's people worked with seamless efficiency. "How do you come up with these solutions so quickly?" she asked Kane later, her tone laced with reluctant admiration. Kane smirked. "We don't wait for problems to overwhelm us. We solve them before they do." Despite their successes, tensions between the humans and Varric remained high. The Varric team, led by Commander Varric, an elder officer loyal to the Council's traditional views, openly dismissed the humans' contributions. He accused Kane's team of recklessness, claiming their primitive methods endangered the mission. Leora, caught between loyalty and reason, struggled to mediate. The breaking point came when the team encountered a massive fissure splitting the planet's surface. Beyond it lay the suspected location of a rare mineral deposit, a treasure that could revolutionize interstellar energy production. The fissure was overrun by Chthons, towering insectoid predators with razor-sharp limbs and exoskeletons impervious to standard weaponry. Varric suggested abandoning the mission, unwilling to risk Varric lives. But Kane, undeterred, proposed a bold plan: to build a makeshift bridge using Kratos 7's natural resources and lure the Chthons away using decoys. "You're insane," Varric sneered. "No one survives a direct encounter with Chthons." "Maybe not alone," Kane replied, his voice steady. "But together, we can." Leora hesitated. Varric's fear was warranted. The Chthons were legendary for their ferocity. But something in Kane's confidence stirred her curiosity, and her loyalty to her people began to waver. Against Varric's objections, she sided with Kane, offering Varric drones to assist in the decoy strategy. The plan was set into motion. While Varric drones created distractions, Kane's team worked tirelessly to construct the bridge, using heat-resistant materials scavenged from the planet's volcanic rocks. The Chthons attacked with terrifying speed, their screeches echoing across the desolate landscape, but the combined efforts of humans and Varric held them at bay. In the chaos, Leora found herself fighting alongside Kane, her sharp intellect complementing his strategic brilliance. For the first time, she saw humanity not as fragile creatures but as equals, perhaps even superiors in their ability to adapt and persevere. As the bridge neared completion, disaster struck. A Krithan breached the defenses, targeting the construction site. Kane rushed to intercept it, armed with only a makeshift weapon. Leora, torn between duty and instinct, followed him. Together, they managed to disable the creature, but not without injuries. The mission succeeded. The mineral deposit was secured, and the team returned to camp, bruised but victorious. Even Varric, though reluctant, acknowledged the humans' role in their success. But the victory was bittersweet. Kane's bravery and Leora's defiance of tradition had set a precedent that would ripple across the galaxy. "You risked everything for this mission," Leora said to Kane as they prepared to leave Kratos 7. "Why?" Kane smiled faintly. "Because proving what we're capable of is worth the risk. And maybe, just maybe, it'll change the way your people see us." Leora didn't reply, but his words stayed with her. For the first time, she began to question the rigid hierarchy that had defined her existence and whether humanity's rise might challenge the galaxy's balance of power in ways no one could predict. Shadows of betrayal. The tension between humanity and the Varric Dominion continued to simmer, but the cracks within the Varric Council were beginning to show. The stalemate left both sides in a precarious position, with humanity preparing for a possible conflict and the Varric Council divided on their next course of action. However, neither side anticipated the betrayal that was about to tip the scales. A secret meeting. On Etheris, Elder Sullen Dar convened a secret meeting with Commander Varric and other hardliners within the council. Frustrated by the lack of decisive action, Sullen proposed a covert operation to destabilize humanity before they could rise any further. "Diplomacy is a waste of time," Sullen declared. "We must strike before they can unify the galaxy against us." Varric, ever loyal to the traditionalist cause, agreed. "What do you propose, Elder?" "We sow chaos," Sullen replied with a sinister edge. "Their colonies are fragile. A few well-placed disruptions, and they will collapse under their own weight. No war, no bloodshed, only a reminder of their inferiority." The plan was approved in secret. Leora, excluded from these clandestine discussions, began to suspect that something was amiss. Her growing network of allies within the council fed her whispers of covert actions, but the details were elusive. What she did know was clear: Sullen would not wait for diplomacy to fail. Sabotage on Earth. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Elias Kane was overseeing preparations for humanity's defense when reports began trickling in from the colonies. Unexplained accidents, resource shortages, and mysterious power failures were wreaking havoc on vital outposts. At first, these incidents seemed coincidental, but the pattern was undeniable. At Terra Nova Station, a bustling colony on the edge of human space, a critical reactor meltdown nearly resulted in disaster. Thanks to quick thinking by Dr. Elena Foster, the colony was saved, but the cause of the failure was suspicious. "This wasn't an accident," Elena said, showing Kane the evidence of tampering. "Someone wanted this reactor to fail." Kane's jaw tightened. The Varric. A dangerous alliance. Back on Etheris, Leora decided to confront Sullen directly. She found him in the council chamber, overseeing plans for what appeared to be a military mobilization. "What are you planning, Elder?" she demanded, her tone sharp. Sullen's gaze was cold. "Ensuring the survival of our people. Something you seem to have forgotten." "By sabotaging humanity?" Leora accused, her voice rising. "You're risking war. Do you really believe they'll stand idly by while we undermine them?" "They are insignificant," Sullen snapped. "A spark to be extinguished before it becomes a fire." Leora clenched her fists, fury simmering beneath her calm exterior. "You underestimate them, Sullen. Humanity is stronger than you think. And if you push them too far, you'll regret it." Unbeknownst to Leora, Sullen had already taken measures to ensure her loyalty or silence. He ordered Commander Varric to monitor her movements, planting operatives to shadow her every step. But Leora was one step ahead. She reached out to her human contact, Captain Kane, through an encrypted message. "Sullen is planning something. Be ready." The trap. As humanity scrambled to respond to the sabotage, Kane devised a plan to expose the Varric's actions. He instructed Elena to set a trap at Eos Station, a critical hub for interstellar trade. If the saboteurs struck again, they would be caught in the act. The trap worked. Varric operatives infiltrated Eos Station under the cover of night, attempting to disable the station's power grid. But they were met with resistance. Human security forces armed with tech that combined human ingenuity and Varric-inspired countermeasures. The saboteurs were captured, and their identities confirmed what Kane already suspected: the Varric Dominion was behind the attacks. A risky gambit. With proof in hand, Kane decided to take the fight to the Varric, not with weapons, but with the truth. He broadcast a message to the entire Intergalactic Federation, exposing the sabotage and naming the Varric as the perpetrators. "Humanity has sought only peace and cooperation," Kane said in the message. "But we will not stand idly by while our people are attacked. To those within the Varric who stand for justice, we extend our hand. To those who seek to destroy us, know this: we will endure." The message sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Allies of humanity rallied to their side, while dissent within the Varric Council reached a breaking point. Sullen's actions had been laid bare, and his grip on the Council began to weaken. The divide deepens. On Etheris, Leora's allies used Kane's broadcast to call for Sullen's resignation. Councillor Threx, emboldened by the revelations, accused Sullen of endangering the Varric Dominion with his reckless actions. "The galaxy will not forgive this treachery," Threx warned. "If we continue down this path, we will find ourselves alone and vulnerable." Sullen, though cornered, refused to back down. "We are the Varric," he thundered. "We do not bow to lesser beings. If they wish to challenge us, let them try." The council remained divided, but Sullen's influence was waning. Leora seized the opportunity to rally more support, urging her people to abandon the path of destruction and embrace a future of cooperation. A dark warning. As humanity celebrated their diplomatic victory, Kane received a chilling message from Leora. "Sullen is not finished," she warned. "He is desperate, and desperate men are dangerous. Be prepared for what comes next." Kane's resolve hardened. The stakes had never been higher, and humanity's survival depended on their ability to outwit an enemy willing to do anything to maintain their dominance. The divide within. The success of the mission on Kratos 7 sent shockwaves across the galaxy. News of humanity's resilience and ingenuity began to spread, challenging the long-held perceptions of the Varric's superiority. While some alien species admired humanity's determination, others viewed their rise as a dangerous precedent. Among the Varric themselves, a rift began to form, one that threatened the very foundation of their society. Back on the Varric homeworld of Etheris, the Council convened in an emergency session to address the fallout from the Kratos 7 mission. Commander Varric presented his report, emphasizing the dangers of humanity's growing influence. "They are resourceful, yes," he admitted grudgingly, "but their recklessness and defiance make them a threat to the order we have maintained for centuries." Leora stood at the opposite end of the chamber, her presence now a source of controversy. Her decision to side with Kane during the mission had drawn both praise and scorn. "Humanity's methods are unconventional, but they work," she countered. "Instead of fearing their potential, we should learn from it. Collaboration strengthens us all." The head elder, Salandar, a staunch traditionalist, fixed her with a piercing gaze. "You speak as though these humans are our equals, Commander Leora. Have you forgotten who we are?" "I have not forgotten," Leora replied, her voice steady. "But I have seen what they are capable of. They survived Kratos 7 not through brute strength, but through creativity and unity. If we dismiss them, we risk underestimating them, as we have before." The council chamber erupted in murmurs, the elders divided in their opinions. Some argued for stricter measures to suppress humanity, while others, inspired by Leora's perspective, suggested a more diplomatic approach. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Elias Kane returned to a hero's welcome. The Kratos 7 mission had solidified humanity's place in the galactic community, but Kane knew their victory had come at a cost. The growing divide within the Varric left him uneasy. He had seen firsthand how dangerous they could be when their dominance was threatened. Kane's concerns were validated when he received an encrypted message from Leora. It was a warning, one that confirmed his fears. "The council is split," Leora explained in the message. "Some believe humanity must be controlled or eliminated. Others see you as an opportunity. Be prepared, Captain Kane. This is far from over." Kane shared the news with his closest advisors, including Dr. Elena Foster, a brilliant engineer who had been instrumental in developing the technology that saved them on Varlax Prime. "If the Varric are divided, it could work in our favor," Elena suggested. "We could align with those who support us and push for a real alliance. But if the wrong faction gains power," Kane countered, "we could be facing an all-out war." As tensions escalated, Leora faced her own struggles on Etheris. Her defense of humanity had made her a target among the traditionalists. She was summoned to a private meeting with Elder Salandar, whose influence within the council was unmatched. "You have overstepped, Leora," Salan said coldly. "Your fascination with these humans blinds you to the truth. They are unpredictable and dangerous. They must be kept in check, or they will destroy everything we have built." Leora met his gaze, her determination unwavering. "And what have we built, Elder? A society so afraid of change that it clings to the past while the future slips away? Humanity is not a threat, they are a mirror, showing us our own weaknesses. Ignoring them will not make them disappear." Salan's expression darkened. "Be careful, Commander. Your words tread dangerously close to treason." Despite the warning, Leora refused to back down. She began reaching out to like-minded members of the Varric Council, forming a quiet coalition of those who believed in cooperation over conflict. Among them was Councillor Threx, an elder statesman known for his pragmatism. If humanity's rise is inevitable, Threx reasoned, then fighting them would be a mistake. "We must adapt, or we will perish." Back on Earth, Kane and his team worked tirelessly to prepare for what they knew was coming. Diplomatic overtures were sent to the Varric, but Kane was under no illusions. "We need to be ready for anything," he told his team. "If the Varric can't resolve their own divide, we may have to face them on the battlefield." As part of their preparations, Elena led the development of adaptive defense systems, combining human ingenuity with technology reverse-engineered from Varric designs. "If they want to fight," she said grimly, "we'll make sure it's a fair one." The divide within the Varric came to a head when Elder Salandar proposed a resolution to isolate humanity completely, cutting them off from interstellar trade and communication. It was a move designed to cripple humanity without direct conflict. But before the vote could take place, Leora made a bold move. She stood before the council, presenting evidence of humanity's contributions to galactic progress. She highlighted their innovations, their resilience, and their ability to adapt to the galaxy's harshest challenges. "We cannot turn our backs on them," she argued. "To do so is to turn our backs on progress itself." Her speech swayed some, but Salandar remained unmoved. "They are a threat to our supremacy," he thundered. "If we allow them to grow unchecked, they will surpass us." Leora's response was calm but cutting. "Perhaps it is not humanity we fear, but our own inability to evolve." The vote ended in a deadlock, with neither side gaining a clear majority. The council remained paralyzed, their divisions deeper than ever. For humanity, this was both a blessing and a curse. While it bought them time, it also meant that the threat of conflict loomed larger with each passing day. As the sun set over Earth and Etheris alike, both Kane and Leora prepared for the battles ahead, one fighting for humanity's survival, the other for her people's future. Though separated by light years, their fates were now irrevocably intertwined. The breaking point. The galaxy was teetering on the edge of chaos. Humanity's bold exposure of the Varric sabotage had garnered sympathy and support from many alien species, but it also provoked a fierce response from Elder Salandar and his loyalists within the Varric Dominion. As the divide within the Varric deepened, whispers of war began to echo across the stars. Humanity's rally. On Earth, Captain Elias Kane stood before the United Galactic Assembly, a coalition of species advocating for peace. His presentation of the captured Varric saboteurs and the evidence of sabotage sent shockwaves through the assembly. Humanity seeks coexistence, not conflict, Kane declared. But we will defend ourselves if necessary. The assembly's reaction was mixed. Some species, like the Rendari, pledged their full support to humanity. Others, wary of escalating tensions, urged caution. Meanwhile, the Varric delegation, led by Councillor Threx, attempted to distance themselves from Sullen's actions. The Dominion does not condone such measures, Threx assured the assembly. These were the actions of a rogue faction. Behind closed doors, however, Threx warned Kane. Sullen is cornered, but that makes him more dangerous. If he feels his power slipping, he may resort to drastic measures. The final push. On Etheris, Sullen Dar was indeed growing desperate. The broadcast from Kane had turned many within the Varric Council against him, and Leora's growing coalition threatened to unseat his authority entirely. Sullen summoned Commander Varric and his most loyal military officers to discuss his next move. We can no longer afford half measures, Sullen growled. If the galaxy sees humanity as an equal, it will only be a matter of time before our position as rulers of the Deathworlds is usurped. We must strike decisively and remind them of who we are. Varric hesitated. You mean war? Call it a demonstration, Sullen said coldly. We will target Varlax Prime. Destroy the colony and leave no survivors. Let them see what defiance costs. The warning. Leora, now fully committed to stopping Sullen, had infiltrated his network of loyalists. Using her network of spies, she intercepted Sullen's plan and immediately contacted Kane. He's targeting Varlax Prime, she said, her voice urgent. You need to evacuate the colony immediately. Kane's stomach dropped. Varlax Prime was humanity's crown jewel, a thriving colony on one of the most dangerous Deathworlds. If Sullen succeeded, it would not only mean the loss of countless lives but also a devastating blow to humanity's morale. We won't let that happen, Kane vowed. Thank you, Leora. Stay safe. Preparing for battle. As word of Sullen's plan spread, humanity mobilized. Kane called for reinforcements from Earth and allied species, while Dr. Elena Foster worked around the clock to upgrade the colony's defenses. Using the advanced technology reverse-engineered from the Varric, Elena designed a network of automated turrets, energy shields, and countermeasures specifically tailored to the Varric's tactics. We may not have their firepower, Elena admitted, but we have something they don't, ingenuity. The Varric fleet, led by Varric himself, began its approach to Varlax Prime. Sullen had ordered total annihilation, but Varric, despite his loyalty, harbored doubts. The resilience of humanity had left an impression on him, and he wondered if this act of destruction would truly serve the Varric's cause or destroy their standing forever. The Battle of Varlax Prime. As the Varric fleet entered orbit, the skies over Varlax Prime darkened with their presence. Kane, now stationed on the ground, coordinated the defense with precision. The energy shields hummed to life, casting a shimmering dome over the colony, while automated turrets tracked the incoming ships. The first wave of Varric drones descended, attempting to disable the shield generators. Human forces, bolstered by allies from the Rendari and other species, engaged in a fierce ground battle. Elena's countermeasures proved invaluable, neutralizing the drones before they could reach their targets. From orbit, Commander Varric watched the battle unfold. Despite his reservations, he ordered the fleet's next move, a concentrated barrage aimed at the colony's infrastructure. Massive plasma beams rained down, shaking the ground and testing the limits of the energy shields. We can't take much more of this. Elena shouted as the shield generators began to overheat. Kane knew they needed to turn the tide, and fast. Leora's gamble. Unbeknownst to Sullen, Leora had not only warned humanity but also devised her own plan to end the conflict. With the help of her allies, she commandeered a Varric stealth ship and infiltrated Sullen's flagship, the Imperium's Wrath, which was overseeing the assault. Confronting Sullen on the command deck, Leora made her stand. You've betrayed everything the Dominion stands for, she said, her voice unwavering. This isn't about protecting our people, it's about protecting your pride. Sullen sneered. You've always been a traitor, Leora. But it's too late. Humanity will fall, and you will fall with them. Before Sullen could give the final order to obliterate Varlax Prime, Leora disabled the ship's control systems using a device she had smuggled aboard. Chaos erupted on the bridge as loyalists tried to regain control, but Leora's allies held them off. You won't win this, Sullen, Leora said as she transmitted the shutdown signal to the rest of the Varric fleet. It's over. Victory at a cost. With Sullen's fleet disabled, the battle over Varlax Prime came to an abrupt end. The Varric forces, leaderless and divided, retreated. Humanity and its allies had won, but the cost was high. The colony had suffered significant damage, and many lives were lost. As the dust settled, Leora contacted Kane one final time. Sullen has been detained, she said. The Council will hold him accountable, but the fight for change is far from over. You've proven what humanity is capable of. Now it's up to both our peoples to decide what comes next. Kane nodded. We couldn't have done this without you, Leora. Thank you. Leora smiled faintly. Perhaps one day, our worlds won't just coexist, they'll thrive together.